thanking you all for attending. If any of you saw yesterday's broadcast, I may be able to save you some time. This is going to be essentially the same thing we went through yesterday. We did overnight get a few more questions that at the end of this we'll touch on and try to answer. But this was essentially the same conversation we had yesterday for those who couldn't make it yesterday. And over the next several weeks, we will provide details of our plans for reopening this fall. Today, Rod Lennertz and I will cover the broad issues in the overall plan. Then, over the next 4 weeks, we will dive into, first, academics and the classroom, where we'll cover issues like social distancing in the classroom, wearing of masks, online, etc. The next week after that, we'll talk about the student experience, i.e. the residence halls, as well as the dining environment. Then we will talk about HR support. And then we will, in the last week, cover, not by any means the last, but nor the least, but a very important area of our research and how we've been bringing it section by section back. In each case, we'll cover the advice of our experts that have worked tirelessly over the last several months to give us specific advice. And then we'll also talk about the specific plans that we have now chosen in each of those areas. So in each case, we'll do 2 sessions a week, just as we're doing this week, so that everyone can, who wants to, can participate. What I'd like to do just at the outset here is to give you a few broad thoughts and share with you some of my own thinking about what's been going on. But even before I do that, I just have to thank everyone. This has been an amazingly unexpected experience. It has impacted every one of us in ways that I don't think any of us could ever have imagined. And I want to thank you for your stamina, your flexibility. I mean, our staff moved off campus into a distance working environment from our homes. We've all learned a lot about Zoom. We've all learned a lot about Skype. And yet the institution still continues to function well. Our faculty it's just amazing how quickly we moved everything the last part of the last semester to online. And I've talked to a number of students over the last few weeks. Just prior to graduation, I was calling the seniors just to make sure I got some sense of how things went. And to a person, they said, well, we got through it. The courses continued fluidly. But most importantly, I want to thank the faculty, because I heard a lot of comments about the faculty made themselves available, more available than even normal. And they were there to ask questions or answer questions. They were there to mentor, tutor. And so I really want to thank the faculty. You did a phenomenal job. And then, of course, all of our frontline healthcare workers. My goodness, what you've gone through has just been phenomenal. And you've not only delivered that, but you've delivered it safely to the entire community. State Hygienics Lab went from 1 shift to 2 shifts to 3 shifts, went from a few hundred tests to several thousand tests, and they're still going through it. Thank you. Thank you. We wouldn't have gotten through this. Our students, thank you for letting us change your lives so quickly. We flipped the switch and closed campus very, very quickly. Our Board of Regents, there have been periods where the board has been in emergency session 2 or 3 times a week. There have been myriad of issues I've had to raise with them, ask for their advice. So thank you for being involved. The Board of Regents office has just been almost 24/7 during this period. And as I mentioned a moment, we created instituted or started our crisis incident management team and ignited them. And they've been just incredible in this process. I'm always reminded of Sandy Boyd's just really sage comment that when he closes his eyes, he doesn't see the buildings, he sees the people at our institution. And that is ever so true. I actually, the other night, I was thinking about that, and I'm not disagreeing with him at all, but I would say, hey, Sandy, I actually not only see the people, I see one big team. We have come together amazingly well. Um, and even when we have frustrated, we've had those conversations together face to face. And I think we're at a very, very good place. Still have a lot to do. And this issue of how we closed and it was a switch, the reopening of our campus is incredibly complex. It's not like flipping the switch and turning everything back on. The virus is still among us. And as a result, we need to go through every facet of our institution and think about social distancing, not only social distancing in office space, but also in lab space, and not only just in lab space, but also in classrooms, not just in small classrooms, but in big classrooms. We need to think about activities in clubs. We need to think about protective masks. We need to think about classroom protocols. We need to think about online versus face-to-face or a hybrid in delivery of our instruction. Testing, self-isolation. Where are we going to put people when we need? They are part of a network that may have been infected. So the issues just go on and on and on. And as I said yesterday, again, for me, one of the complications has been watching our peers. They seem to have quickly come to some conclusions. And there's a fair amount of one institution copying another institution. And I'm fearful that, at least for us, we need to be more thoughtful about that. We need to pause and understand that this virus isn't the same in Iowa as it is in Delaware or New York or California. In fact, even in Iowa, it's different in one region than the next. And so we need to think through what's important and critical for us and how we manage these reopening issues uniquely for us, not for some other institution somewhere else across the country. I would also say, unlike some of our other institutions, some of our peers have healthcare systems, many don't. That sets a different bar on some of these issues. I think the issue of in-state and out-of-state and where our students are coming from makes a huge difference. So rather than just quickly pick up what some other institution has done, what we have done is actually created a group, our crisis incident management team. It's made up of experts. Rod will describe that more carefully in a moment. But we empowered them to think about all the possible nuances and specifically how those nuances are, how we should address them in our community at the University of Iowa, to develop our plan of how to reopen, what our calendar should look like, what we should do in the classroom, et cetera. And in the next few weeks, what you'll start hearing, you'll hear a little of it today, but you'll start hearing the specific details of that. And I just want to pause and thank this crisis incident management team for the incredible work that they've done. They've met almost daily, and in some cases over weekends, for every day since somewhere around early March. They've met for several hours each day. And they've gone through all these issues one by one by one. And then not only did they start getting answers about pieces of it, but they started seeing the system and started putting them back together to see the impact across them all. And so thank you for the crisis incident management team, for all of your great work to help us develop our plan. And then I did an interview with the Daily Iowan a few weeks ago, and they asked me a question that caused me to pause and think about it. And I admitted that when this all started early on, it was just a random set of things that were coming at us. And I was having a little difficulty in the early March period, trying to figure out what's the optimization function? What is the one thing that we need to really, really focus on as we go through this? Is it the finances? What is it? And I suddenly realized it is pretty simple. It's all about keeping us safe. It is about keeping our students safe. We had to get our international students out of harm's way. We had to keep some students on campus because they didn't have any other place to go. And so we kept about 100 on campus as we closed. We had student athletes we need to protect. We have faculty members we need to protect. We have staff members we need to protect. Keeping us safe needs to be our number one priority. By the way, that same logic said we kept all of us in pay status throughout the entire semester. So I think that is a really important notion. Also, as we think about reopening, our primary objective must be to keep ourselves safe. We need to actually now start doing something that's actually pretty complex. We need to think about instructing our students safely. We need to think about instructing them safely for our faculty. We need to think about how to get back to our research safely. We need to get back to running our residence and dining halls safely. And so we're going to go through a series of policies and procedures that we're taking to make sure we keep all of us safe. And I just want to say, as we go through this next semester and maybe the semester after that, it will not be the same as we've experienced in the past. We're all, including me, are going to have to change our behaviors. Our students are going to have to change their behaviors. I will comment now on something I mentioned yesterday at the back end of this. We're also going through training sessions for our students to talk about some of these issues and what we expect from them to help keep them safe as well as our broader community safe. I think a great example here has been what UIHC, our hospitals and clinics system, has been able, as of this morning, I think there were 10 patients with CV-19 in the hospital at midnight. It has been as high as in the mid-40s a few weeks ago. And they've done that in a way that can still, the ER is still open. Much of the hospital is still open. Many of the healthcare workers are going through protective equipment rapidly. And there are new pathways to get into the hospital. But they've done that in a way that have kept all of our employees and our healthcare workers frontline right up against the CV-19 virus. They've been able to keep themselves safe. So I think they have a lot to teach us about how to think about a university environment and how to reopen. Finally, I'm always reminded that people look for simple answers to complex problems, and that's usually a dangerous thing to do. This is a really complex environment we're in. And let's all remember something. At each stage of this process, we will give you our best opinion and advice of what we're going to do and how we plan to open. But we're already seeing recent spikes in the last few days across the country, even in Iowa. There's been an increase. We need to maintain our flexibility here. So what we say definitively we're doing today may change tomorrow based on new input. So please allow us to flex as needed. This is an extremely fluid situation, and we'll do the best to define it at each stage, but please keep the sense of humor and stay working together as a team, because I think that's our most important cultural attribute, our ability to collaborate and work together. So thank you. And let me now turn it over to Rod.
Thank you, Bruce. And thank you for your words. As I think all of you will hear, many of the items and information I will cover will weave into those messages that President Harrell has shared with you. Over the next roughly half hour, I will go through a PowerPoint slide presentation with you that I hope provides two things. One, our commitment to communication. As President Harrell said, this is not only fluid, it is unpredictable. People want answers, and there are often no answers or right answers. And this is both here and across our nation and at all of the higher education institutions trying to work through this. Our intent and our commitment is to remain constant and consistent in our messaging and in our communication to you and to our entire University of Iowa community. The second is to instill confidence. We know there are many challenges in front of us, but it is our intent to offer a rewarding and real university experience for all of our visitors to this campus, all of our community members. And to do so, we're going to have to do it together. I'm going to be talking about procedures, but it's also about a social contract, a personal contract of responsibility to look after your neighbor and look after yourselves. And with that, we're confident that we'll have a successful University of Iowa fall 2021 and beyond. So with that, I'll start with the PowerPoint, and we'll go through several topics on the PowerPoint. These will be the topics I'll be covering over the next half hour. We'll talk about principles, history. We'll go back a bit to get some perspective. Actions to date by the CIMT and by our university. Our plan for the fall 2020, the overview for that. We've been sending out a lot of information and updates related to that, so we'll cover that area. And then I will also cover some of the questions. We had questions yesterday. I've added some questions to today's presentation, and then just a quick review of the upcoming forum events. We're intending to continue this. This is the second of 10 times we'll be together in this format with different experts speaking on different topics as we go through the next month to month and a half of time before the fall semester starts. So starting with principles, and you could hear it in what President Harold was saying, we start with our people. Our people are what make our university, the students, the faculty, the staff. We are as strong as our people and have always been that way in this state and at this university, and that is our top listed priority or principle. The second, preserving our building and building on our core values of excellence, learning, community, diversity, integrity, respect, and responsibility, those core values that teach us and tell us how to do what we do great on this university. The third bullet in our principles, delivering, of course, what we are called to do and what our state expects of us as the flagship institution for this great state of Iowa, world-class education, world-class research, and world-class healthcare. And finally, engaging in shared governance and campus leadership. We are proud and have a long, proud history of making sure that the four corners of our institution are heard and are part of the process, are both on the faculty and staff side. Shared governance is very important, and obviously on our student government, both graduate and undergrad, graduate professional and undergraduate student government. We thank all of you in that shared governance process for helping us along through this crisis and to make it something we persevere through and succeed past. Looking backwards, looking at the history, and many of these are ones that bullets or things to think about that other universities have dealt with. Not all of them, however. Since our founding, almost 175 years ago, the Civil War was dealt with, suffered through, and ultimately we moved past that in the early years of our university. 2 world wars. The Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 became in many ways a mirror for what we're looking at today, across the world, more deadly, but many of the same challenges. Here in Iowa City, we've reflected on some of the newspaper articles and information that we even learned from 1918 and how people dealt with such a severe crisis at that time. A Great Depression, a Great Recession, and of course, multiple floods highlighted, if you want to say highlighted, by the 2008 flood. I was, yesterday, I had the pleasure of visiting with more than 100 universities across North America on the subject of resiliency related to the COVID experience and crisis. And it was remarkable to me. You hear many universities making public statements around the country, but it was remarkable to me when we had that many, how far ahead the University of Iowa is in its thinking and often reflecting. Many of the universities remembering our flood of 2008 and how that gave us a first step head start on making sure that our campus can address early, through, and beyond a crisis. And I'll talk a little bit more about the machinery of that crisis organization, but no doubt the floods were something that brought our campus together, challenged us greatly, and ultimately, and this is important, and as we go to the next slide, it made us stronger. You can see here, out of those disasters, some of the things that have been developed on our campus: the State Hygienic Laboratory, the College of Public Health, our Iowa Flood Center, renowned not just in Iowa, not just in our nation, but throughout the world in the understanding of floods, the prevention of floods, and even in the cures that happen after a disaster that might be related to flooding. And a reimagined art campus. Our arts campus was the epicenter of the 2008 flood, and now is certainly a highlight for those important programs and noted programs in our arts community. We are better than we've ever been. And I think even on the large and small scale, in 2001, for those of you who were here or remember it, we nearly lost our beloved old Capitol when it suffered a major fire. We lost the cupola and dome. It took 5 years to recover that building. But now the building serves as a museum celebrating the history of our university, the community, and the state, and has never been better. So persevering through these crises, if we do it together, is something we can come out on the other side as a better university and a better team as working in this university. So what's next? One of the things we have to look at is what has happened during this crisis. And I've broken it down a little bit in the PowerPoint for you. In the early months, March and April, we first canceled the study abroad programs and repatriated students, faculty, and staff, because we are a global university. Many were in other places. We brought them back quickly. We moved to online education, and thank you so much to our faculty, some who were already doing those kinds of things. We were a top 50 university in the country in online education prior to the COVID experience. Many faculty were used to that form of teaching and incorporating it into the way they taught face-to-face and hybrid programs, and others had never done it before. And their resiliency, their flexibility, their willingness to work through this in what was really a 2-week ramp-up period, spring break and one more bonus week for us to get ready. We also want to thank, of course, our IT teams who worked morning, noon, and night to make sure that all the classrooms were ready, all the faculty were ready. And while not perfectly ideal, no doubt, we learned a lot from that. And we persevered through those immediate weeks. We also shifted so many of the people who support this campus, the employees, the staff, shifted to a nearly completely work from home environment. Those who weren't critically needed on campus turned their work places at home into their places to do work. We didn't close our doors. It was not difficult. It continues to be a challenge because it is a social challenge as well, trying to do teamwork over Zoom and Skype and these kinds of formats. But we're proud of all of the people who have done that. We've been as high as about 90% of our staff being off the campus to make sure that we're as safe as we can be. And it's important to understand we'll continue that as we move forward, because a less compressed campus will be a safer campus for us. And when we're able, when we welcome back 32,000 students, to have a campus that has the room to move and has a safe environment, we'll all be better for that. We closed the residence halls. Great challenge to our students, great challenge to our residence hall, our housing and dining program, and the efforts to make that happen in a smooth transition. Our research, as it says, shifted into hibernation mode. It should be important, and it is important to note that's from a facilities perspective. Our research, which is world-class and is throughout our institution, continued on. Our researchers were doing work, preparing for new research endeavors, trying for other grants and additional grants, securing the ones that they had that were possibly interrupted. So in fact, in many cases, more work was going on, but it was happening remotely, not in those lab buildings that we were used to. Also keep in mind, we were doing and are doing research on COVID and on cures and those kinds of matters that will be world changing. It is, as President Harold said, part of the reason it is so important that we have a world-class college of medicine, Carver College of Medicine, our health science campuses that include all of our health science colleges, and our University of Iowa hospitals and clinics. That work does not stop just because we go home. We canceled, speaking of UIHC, canceled all non-emergency and elective health procedures. A great challenge to UIHC, the loss in revenue because of that, the interruptions in the work that's done by our nurses, by our staff supporting the doctors, all of those folks. And as we did that, we transitioned to protect the general public from the effects of COVID. And it has been very successfully done at UIHC. And then we stood up a new supply chain system for the university and even for the state. We began to represent the state on some of the purchases because of the quality of work of our team led by Debbie Zumba, our director of business services. She went to sort of a 2-shift day where she began to work on Beijing time. Many of the supplies being brought from that place, we were learning it became almost a trade war around the globe to get supplies. So every connection was important, and Debbie and her team were tireless in making sure that we could get that done. In May, as we moved to May, we held our first virtual commencement. This was not easy, and it's not something that we wanted to do. We recognize the special end of a college career for a student and what that means, but our deans and our strategic communications team, who put video teams together with safe social distancing to make sure that we had the messages and we had the personal touch points for each student who would graduate this last spring. It wasn't ideal, and yet it was inspirational, and it was done very nicely. And as we have seen from other institutions, probably better than most. So we're very proud of what we did with our first virtual commencement. We did start with the governor's help when UIHC turned to the governor and said, we believe we're ready and we need to start opening up for those non-emergency health procedures. We were given the authorization to do so. Now, it is a social experiment as well. There, as our Vice President for Medical Affairs, Brooks Jackson, would say, probably no safer place to be than where we're having our elective procedures in the UIHC complex, Iowa River Landing, and others. And yet, it's been hard for people to come back with all of the news that's been going on. And so the revenue impacts to UIHC have been considerable during this time. And yet they keep an incredibly safe and well-regimented program for those who are coming to the hospital for COVID reasons, but also the many, many more that are coming for their annual procedures or their regular or elective procedures. And so hard work appreciated for all the work there by our UIHC folks. We have, through Debbie and the team's work, secured and purchased protective equipment and cleaning materials for the campus. And we've also, in May, initiated the first of 2 pilots, starting and restarting our on-campus presence for research. Thanks again to Marty Schultz, our Vice President for Research, and the entire team, and the CIMT team, and the researchers who have staged this phased comeback. Starting in May, we continue to do so in a rapid fashion to make sure that that really, really important part of the University of Iowa mission is ramped up and continued. As we've hit June, we've continued that first pilot. We've also started a second pilot with athletics. Gary Barter, our athletics director, in coordination with all of the folks in athletics, working with and in timing with the news received from the Big Ten conference, as well as the NCAA, to make sure that our actions and our directions are in line with and in time with what is happening at other institutions, both of those going forward and going well so far. On the next slide, looking at 2020, Bruce mentioned the CIMT team we have, the Critical Incident Management team, at the very bottom of the page. When this is formulated, it is set up and initiated by the president. The membership of that is set up not by our organizational chart, but by those who have technical expertise in certain areas that become sections for the CIMT. We have a planning section. Kevin Kriegel out of our provost's office has been the chair, the chief of the planning team. We have a logistics team. Angie Reams, our dean of students, leads that team. The operations team, Cheryl Reardon, who runs our HR team on campus, has been at the helm of the operations team. And then the administration and finance section, led by Debbie Zumba, who of course has all of those important roles in our securing materials and supplies for the campus. I mentioned those 4 sections. So many other team members are involved in those 4 sections. And then we always sort of look to the head of the table. Anna Lumpkin, our director of emergency management, our emergency director for the campus through UIPD, has been a consummate expert and continues to make sure that we are tied with both the county and the state on all efforts we are making. As you can see in these roles, we work with, and a term that's often used on a national level is the incident command system. After the flood of 2008, we developed the CIMT, And we used it in 2014 when we unfurled a new team for that in a flood threat. It was a good practice. Our campus is more trained in what is called NIMS, the National Incident Management System training, than any other institution I know. And it really did come in handy as this crisis came to pass. And we thank Anna and that entire team, literally hundreds working throughout that process to get our campus on its 2 feet and working forward with eligibility and FEMA funding. There are all kinds of aspects that make it so important to us. One of the 2020 overview topics on the next slide is something that's important. We've heard it a lot, is who do I contact? What are the sources for some of the major issues that are going on? These are a few of them. Facilities management, you can imagine, with 250 buildings, are getting ready for the fall semester is our Herculean effort. Our facilities management team, led by Lynn Finn, are ready for that challenge, already working on that front. July becomes very important for us. You've heard some institutions going to an early start in the fall semester. We are not. We're starting when we were planning to start on August 24th, start classes. Part of the reason is we have a lot to do. We have a lot to make ready for all of the students that are coming back to make this not only a special, but a successful first semester into the COVID crisis. And so it means getting these buildings ready. There's a system within facilities management, as you can see on the PowerPoint, FM at your service, which is a website you can go to, and also the network of our building coordinators. We have volunteer building coordinators throughout the campus who work hand in hand with facilities management in taking care of the various buildings. They become a source you can go to, and they can also then touch point with facilities management. But anytime you have questions or are curious about what you can do or what you might need in your building, FM at your service is an ideal location for that first stop. The supply chain and protective equipment, I've talked about that some already. Debbie Zumba is also responsible for the university's shared services organization, taking care of a lot of the back of house work that we all need. So is so important to our success on a normal day. They are now also the source working for procurement of the departmental and building needs on the supply chain and protective equipment. So work through your shared services representatives to advance those needs. One thing to note, also Debbie's team is putting together a return package, face coverings and masks and hand sanitizer. There will also be a shield, face shield offered for the students that come back. Shared services, as I mentioned, and student life have been involved in this process so that we make sure that people who are coming back to our campus are well fortified, have what they need, and can fit into this model of protecting ourselves and protecting our neighbors on our campus, which is so important in the balance of making sure this first semester is successful. Just a couple more on the next page, signage. There's a key website for all of you to pay attention to, which is the coronavirus.uiowa.edu page, constantly updating that page so that we make sure that we're getting this consistent information out to everyone. But the /communication-materials allows you to also look further into that website and see what we've got with respect to the signage that will occur. We know that we will be treating buildings in ways that will be as safe as they can be, limited entrances. We obviously have to keep exits as they are for fire safety purposes, but how one gets into a building, some buildings are more challenging than others, and this is where communications on the campus will be held and updated on a regular basis. We have vulnerable populations on our campus, and if that's the case, when it has to do with our staff or with our faculty, contacting and making sure that your dean or HR representative are aware and know and can support you on that front. We want to make sure everyone is supported and protected appropriately. And for our students, the Student Disability Services Office is ready to take those kinds of concerns as well and make sure that those are taken care of on a case-by-case basis so that everyone is attended to as our students come back. Some of you to a brand new environment and an exciting environment. We want to make it as stress-free as we can. Meetings on campus, we've all gotten used to virtual versions of meeting with each other and maybe getting a little more comfortable with it as we go. One of the things we're going to do and going to need to do to decompress this campus is to take advantage of a lot of spaces on our campus, and some meeting spaces will be used as we go forward for classroom spaces or seminar spaces. To that end, we are both prioritizing and directing that even on-campus meetings continue to happen virtually. Some people won't be on campus. Some will be in a location where they can't meet. And we want to make sure that everyone in those meetings feels they're on the same page. So we will still be having all of our people doing their meetings virtually. So we certainly appreciate that. There have been questions, and as I said, questions yesterday as well. I'll cover some of those, but these are some of the common questions we've had. We have FAQs associated with the coronavirus.uiowa.edu page as well that you can look at. But here are some that have come up in context with this. Our latest direction is we've been communicating to the university community what the University of Iowa is going to do this fall. The first one, why is the University of Iowa going online after Thanksgiving? As I already mentioned, we're staying with our academic calendar as it is. We know that there are other universities. We're keeping track of our peers and what our peers are doing. Other universities, or some other universities, are ending semesters at Thanksgiving, and others are doing as we're doing. We are going to remain an open campus, and those who are not able to or choose not to travel away from the campus during Thanksgiving, the residence halls will remain open as an option. But for those who do, we're going to make sure that we can help minimize travel and those complications at the last couple of weeks of the semester. So as Thanksgiving ends, we will be online. And we've learned a lot in this last semester, so we know it's something we can do, and that will allow us to have people stay and have the choice to stay in the safest place they can as the semester ends.
Rod, if I may,
yes, please. Yeah,
excuse me. I almost interrupted earlier to make this point, but one of the considerations about moving, the number of universities have moved up a week or 2 weeks, the start of their academic year, and then closing the semester just before Thanksgiving. One of the reasons we chose not to do that, and we've now got into this hybrid mode, is for me, very importantly, as I listen to students, a number of them have jobs or internships or working on the farm. And boy, we've all been impacted fiscally. And just moving a week or two forward means they get a week or two less of that important income or internship or working on the farm. And it shouldn't seem like the right thing to do. So we decided, rather than put that burden of a shifted schedule on the students, we put it on ourselves. We thought it was the right thing to do. And so as we get further into the semester, we'll see how this virus goes. I think we've learned how to have a few weeks online, and we can certainly have exams online. And as Rod mentioned, those students that need to stay on campus, we'll make sure they can stay on campus, and we'll keep residence halls and dining halls open. So just want to make sure you all understand it's a little different than some of our in-state peers did. And it was really, in my mind, largely driven by just trying to help our students as much as possible through this. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. The next one, and one that is on a lot of people's minds, we're seeing it more in the news. We're hearing the CDC has more recently changed their perspectives on this as well, is why is the University of Iowa requiring masks? As we mentioned, we're having care packages for each of, for instance, the students that come back, and our faculty staff offered the same, a package that offers those masks and hand sanitizer, face shields to each of our folks, so people don't have to be expected to find a way if they don't have one. But it's important, as it says, the wearing of the mask protects your health, protects the health of your colleagues and your classmates is an important factor. And as a source control, as the CDC has said, this is a partnership. We understand that some of us feel invincible, and depending on age, there may be reasons some do, but It's about your neighbor. It's about making sure that everyone is treated both with respect and care, but also with the safest possible environment we can offer. We don't know if the person walking past us in a hallway on the way to class or into or out of a classroom is someone who may be suffering or have other illnesses, or going home to somebody who may be challenged. And it's important that we make sure that this social aspect and now CDC supported aspect of wearing a mask when in a University of Iowa building, unless you're, as I am today, once we reach a private office and I'm alone, when we're together in our buildings, we will go into the fall semester all wearing masks. I can also say I'm in a press conference later today with the city of Iowa City and with business officials in the area, encouraging that this community as a whole go toward a mask wearing theme throughout our community. And it's important. We're seeing the differences it makes. And we all recognize it's more challenging, but it's something that's important for our neighbors, for our colleagues, for our classmates in our university community. Will the university refund part of my tuition with all of the things we're talking about going on? The answer shortly is no. The full tuition, as it says, is necessary for covering the ongoing operations, which does include faculty and staff retention and providing the support services we have. It is the cost of educating the students at the University of Iowa. We had a less than ideal way to end the spring semester, suddenly going online. We know we're very good at online and hybrid work. And when we have classrooms of more than 50 students, classes of more than 50 students, we're going to hybrid and online versions for those. There will be plenty of face-to-face with social distancing and with the right provisions for safety. But the answer to that would be no. We will have a full semester at the University of Iowa, and so no need for refunds on tuition. Some more questions. What is the University of Iowa doing for testing and contact tracing? We are still developing and working on the plans for testing, but the intent and our plan is that those who are symptomatic will be tested. There are all kinds of debates about the effectiveness and the realistic notion of getting reliable testing. And we're working through all of that, not trying to make statements outside of making sure that what we're doing is wise and what we're doing is doable. But those who may be symptomatic on our campus will be tested. And keep in mind our residence hall system. As we welcome students back, we also are reserving a residence hall as empty and Iowa House in our IMU space for space in case someone becomes one of our students on campus, living on campus, becomes symptomatic. We'll have a place for them to isolate, still be able to take classes remotely, be provided the services needed to recover appropriately in that period of time. So all of those on the many facets of our CIMT efforts are being considered. The contract tracing will be coordinated with Johnson County Public Health, and again, working with our team, working with their team, Anna Lumpkin being a linchpin for the coordination with their county and our public health folks and the state hygienic laboratory folks all working together to make sure that we're doing best practice efforts on testing and on contact tracing. Is the semester going to be online for the spring semester? Is the university for the spring semester? It's a good question. This is obviously, we learn every week and certainly have over the course of some 90 days since we've been dealing with this, learned a lot as we've gone, and the spring semester can seem a long ways away. However, we have been planning and have multiple B and C plans as we move forward for the fall semester, and have begun also talking and thinking through with our deans and our academic leaders on what happens in the spring semester. Our intent is to be face-to-face and yet remain flexible. We must remain, it's a fluid situation. We will remain flexible and ahead of the issues that come up responding to COVID cases locally and nationally, and make sure that we're doing the right thing and following, as Bruce said, that our university community is as safe as it can be. That's the first and most important thing, our people. Why is the university having these virtual updates? It is a commitment of ours. We often hear that communication is the most important thing and often the most difficult thing. And there are probably no perfect ways to do it. However, I can tell you from that visit I had with other universities, our getting into these, for instance, these 10 virtual forum events we have where we're sharing information, receiving questions and comments and advice, are keeping us together, giving you a chance to plug into what we're thinking, what we're doing. We will continue through our strategic communications group. Janine Beck and Pete Mathis and the entire team are putting together weekly, sometimes multi-weekly updates on where things are with respect to COVID. We'll keep those coming. Please keep on looking for that black and gold line for the COVID and looking for those. And always feel free to go back to coronavirus.uiowa.edu if interested in where we are with the latest consistent information. And we'll keep on providing the information, hoping that it's enough for you and provides both confidence and information that you need to plan. We did have a few other questions that came out of yesterday's that were common that I wanted to cover with you this morning. We have had several questions regarding how we're going to manage the flow of people in our buildings, within our buildings, on staircases, some staircases more tightly compacted than others, and in and out of buildings. Again, this goes back to, it's a great question, and it goes back to two things: how we will operate as a university prior to the fall semester with that magic July month of hard work by our facilities management team, making the buildings themselves ready to roll, but also that notion of partial physical and programming and partial social contract with each other and shared responsibility. You've all been in grocery stores and retail outlets where you see stripes on the floor telling you one way, this way or that way. Some people don't use them, and I can tell you personally, when I see that, it concerns me and frustrates me. The directions we're given. In this case, we'll have similar options to make sure that it is safe, but expect people to use those so that you give the time between classes, and that we continue to do something that is important, not just for us, but for our fellow classmates and fellow community members. And so we have, some buildings are easier than others, but we're working through that. More effort put into those that are tighter and more confined or a bit more challenged on that front. Another common question.
Rod,
yes,
Rod,
please, Bruce.
I'm sorry, here I go again. I promise to stop, but I think this is an important time to also discuss. Well, first of all, if you're, I'll be teaching this fall. So I just, so you know, I'm going to go over to where I'm teaching a couple days ahead of time and try to figure out the flow. And because I have a tendency to try to cut the clock a little too closely, and I could find myself being in the wrong place, going the wrong way at my right time. And so I would just encourage everyone to try to go on you can go, we have, I think, maps on the web, and you can see the flow and the signage, but also maybe go into the space a few weeks ahead of time just to get comfortable with how things work, so you don't get caught in an awkward moment doing the wrong thing. But then I want to make a broader point. This is where I think the collaboration and doing everything with a smile. I think we're all going to find that we're going to do something that's we're going to forget our mask. We're going to walk the wrong way. This is a time where I think we should all just accept that when Rod sees me doing that, he's going to remind me, very hopefully with a smile on his face, and it's okay for him to remind me that I'm off script, so to speak. We all need to come together. And the more we do that, the more I think we'll bring our students along as well. So this is a period where it's not going to be the same. Some of us are going to feel very awkward in some of these moments, but right now it's about safety. And so it's really important that each of us with a smile say, hey, Bruce, you're going the wrong way here, or put your mask on, you forgot it, or let's coach each other. And it's okay right now. Don't take it as a personal affront and get mad about it. Take it as a thank you. Thank you. You're helping me. Sorry for the lecture, but I think it's really important stuff. This is social behavior.
Yeah, we're heading into a new world, and it will be, people have to have patience and understanding. And you hear us keep talking about the masks. It's because it is a topic of a lot of discussion nationwide. And we're just looking to make sure we're the safest we can be for every person and the person they're going to see after we see them. And Bruce, you mentioned a smile. I was going to cover this at the end, but truthfully, it's so important as we move forward for all of us, all of you, as we come together as a university to be kind, to be patient, and to be understanding. And also, as we know, when you're wearing a mask, it's tough to see anybody smile. One of the things that I've noticed, I've passed it on to a couple and I've tried it, and I invite you to try it. We have a little thing known that has been made known during our football seasons. It's been quite a success and quite an inspirational moment at the University of Iowa, which is the first quarter wave to our Stead Family Children's Hospital. And I would invite all of you who might listen to remember that. And when you're walking, I've tried this, it works. When you're walking down the hall or walking down the street and you have a mask on and you're approaching somebody, they can't see you smile. People say smile with your eyes. That's tough. Give them a little wave, just a little wave. And what I've noticed is almost everybody gives a wave back. And it's a simple way to say hello without having to say anything, without having to pull your mask away to say you're smiling. Give it a try. It's another one of the many social experiments that we have going on with COVID, but I would argue no better place than at the University of Iowa. We already have the wave, so let's use it 365 days a year and make having a mask not be such an inconvenience to us, but an invitation to say hello to somebody, whether you would normally do so or not. So give them a wave. The last item I have is a new one and a common question is about those things that make a university life interesting and exciting, and those include events like our special dance marathon, homecoming, the President's Block Party, Bruce and Mary hosting on an annual basis, typically around 5,000 people at the President's residence for hamburgers and treats, and our dining team really showing quite an amazing event for our students as they start the semester. All of these things make for a special part of a college experience. And it's, I guess what I would say with some of these is everything remains fluid as we see it everywhere. For the dance marathon, we're about 95 days past when we stopped the semester and went to online semester in the spring. We're still more than 100 days away from the dance marathon. A lot will transpire before that, and we'll know a lot more. It's a very important event, and we hope in many ways we can keep it going just as it is even this year. But flexibility has to be first and foremost, because safety is first and foremost. We will give a lot of warning and information as to what we'll do or how we'll do it differently, but it's important and a high priority for us to make sure that your college experience, if you're a student or if you're a parent of a student, or if you're one of our community members, that these special moments on our campus remain special. And in this interesting year of COVID, we will do our best, but we won't sacrifice safety on that front. So those are a few of the questions that have come in. We ask you to keep bringing them to us. We want to keep hearing from you, and we want to instill confidence and also a level of care that has all of us working together. To that end, this is the second of 10 of our virtual events that we're having for you. We've covered, Bruce and I have covered generally the broad overview of our COVID efforts. We have our next one is going to be on academics in the classroom. It'll be hosted by our provost, Montse Fuentes, Kevin Kriegel, and by Tanya Uden-Holman. That will be July 1st and July 2nd. We do two of each so that in case you can't make one, you can certainly tune into the other. July 1st at 10 a.m. and July 2nd at 1 o'clock. On July 8th and 9th will be the third installment, July 8th at 2 o'clock, July 9th at 10 in the morning. That will be the student experience. So we certainly hope you tune into that one if you're interested on that front. Our Vice President for Student Life, Sarah Hansen, will host that hour with you, along with Angie Reams. I mentioned Angie already and her critical work with our CIMT team. She's also the Dean of Students for the University of Iowa. And they will be hosting the July 8th and 9th student experience visit. On July 15th and 16th, this will be at 2 o'clock and then followed by a 9 o'clock in the morning on the 16th. On those 2 days, it will be human resources and support of our employees and the people on our campus, the staff, the faculty. Cheryl Reardon, head of our university's HR, also chief of the CIMT operations team, will host you for that event, along with Joni Troyster, who is the deputy chief and has also done a great deal of work with CIMT. Finally, and it's, as Bruce said earlier, last but not least, on July 22nd and July 23rd, we will be hosting the chapter called Research. We'll be talking about our progress on the pilots, where we stand, what comes next. Marty Schultz, as our vice president for research, will host you that day, along with Haley Sin, director of environmental health and safety, and Debbie Zumba will also be joining us as the assistant vice president for director of business services. So that's the lineup for the summer. Between now and July 23rd, we'll keep coming at you with more information. We ask you to tune in, and we also ask you to keep checking on our releases we have through Strategic Communications and our website. We appreciate so much your time spent with us this hour. And again, stay kind, stay understanding, patient. We're going to succeed at this. And as we often and always say at the University of Iowa, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.